Hello there, this is another reading that I'm recording. This one is for Julia Gillard in the next 6 months. I'd like to take a bit of a deeper look into Julia and what issues are happening around her and her Prime Ministership of Australia. How she leads us is very important. There's a lot of issues on the table at the moment, and I just want to have a little bit of a look into what's happening with Julia. So, the first card is Spiritual Strength. So, Julia is actually a very tough cookie. She has a lot of ability to lead us with great strength, insight, and guidance. So, I think we have chosen a very good leader for our country who's going to lead us through some difficult times ahead, and she's going to need to be strong. So luckily she has been tested in her life leading up to this point, tested or prepared with lessons and learnings and wisdom that she's gained through her life already. I think that she has the ability to be a very strong, powerful leader for us, somebody that's going to be fair and just, and somebody that is in the right place, obviously. Well, being a woman and being a Prime Minister is certainly taking its toll on Julia's hormones and her hormonal system. I think on a physical level she needs to watch her energy levels, the kinds of food that she's eating, because it does affect her hormones. And she's taken on a masculine role, but that doesn't mean she's being a man in this role. She's very much in contact with her feminine energy and very much using that feminine energy. There'll be lots of forums and forums for discussion and legislation around families and around children and reforming perhaps the daycare system and things like that under her leadership. And she might actually do very well with some new reforms in the medical industry, hospitals, so forth. So she does actually have quite a heart. Recognition and reward. Wow, I guess she's going to be recognised for the work that she's been doing by her peers, so she must be ready to do some good work for Australia, and actually allowing us to have some forums, I keep wanting to say, that are really positive and good for all. So I'm getting the feeling that there's legislation and there's laws being passed that are good for all, not just for one, and fair, very fair, and I think people are going to recognise her leadership qualities. I never really liked Julie, to be honest, but after this reading, it looks like she's been misjudged. It looks like she's been putting on a stiff upper lip in a man's world when she's really quite a sensitive, spiritual, feminine woman, but having to act like a man. So it feels like she won't be in power very long. I don't think she will be in power in the next 6 months. I think there'll be an election. She'll be recognised and rewarded for the work that she's done, but she will actually be moving on from that position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, in the next 4 months actually. So in the next 4 months, I know there's no election scheduled, but it looks like there may be a change of power in the House, and I think that it might be a case of her being asked to move down by her fellow Liberal Party members and asking to be replaced by somebody else. So I think she's quite happy to do that. I don't think that that is going to be a scandal. I think it's going to be something that's like a natural progression. So time to move on. Archangel Michael, he is the angel of healing. So I'm feeling that there's going to be a huge amount of work done in the medical industry, so hospitals, foreign aid, foreign care, giving medicines to countries that don't have those medicines, like Africa and Asia. And I think that this is going to happen with the influence of Julia Gillard. Firm foundation. So she's a rock solid person and she's in the right job. But in the next 6 months there's going to be a shake-up in her political house, and there may be a changeover of position. She's being asked to leave, and I feel that she'll go through a healing phase with that. I think maybe that's a little bit of karma. Maybe something that happened to Kevin Rudd is going to happen to her, and after that, her life will be very firm. She has a firm foundation, and she's leaving Australia with a very firm foundation. Australia's in a very good position to follow through with the changes that are happening in the rest of the world. We're going to come out strong because this is a strong card, firm foundation. It's the base chakra, the root chakra. So it's all about money, finances, survival. So it looks like Australia is going to be in a very comfortable position to survive whatever the universe throws at us. This deck in the middle is called the deck Lucy Cavendish, Shadow and Light. So it's all about shadow and light. The three witchy sisters. The power of three. Okay, so that relates to something that has happened 3 times. It will either, that'll be the finish of it. It won't happen again. If something's happened once, there's 2 more times for it to happen. So that tells me that there's a changeover in the government leadership another 2 times. It's happened with Rudd, it's going to happen with Julia, and then it's going to happen again. So there's 3 times when the power will be taken away from the person in charge and then given to somebody else. So we've had the first one with Rudd. I think Julia, this will happen again to her. Like history repeating itself in a way, and then it will happen to the next person that comes in. So there's this great big shuffle up, this big change in our leadership and in our government and in the actual party itself that the person that runs the country belongs to. So the Witchy Sisters, it isn't a negative card, it's just the power of 3. Sometimes things happen in 3s. It's not coincidence. It's just something that is a universal law. So I think there's going to be a change of government in about 4 months. The leadership is going to change. And that's a bit of a scandal, but it's also interesting to see if it comes true. I don't know if it'll come true or not. I'm just saying what I see. Anyway, that's Julia. She's a good soul. She's a strong woman in a man's world, and she'll be recognized for the work that she has done. She's going to make a lot of changes to do with families and the support that families can get from the government and our community, and I feel that it's definitely, in about 4 months, it's about time for her to move on. So there you have it.